Hello, I am Harare. I just finished my first speedrun for Encased, so now I'm going to go through what I did throughout the speedrun because I pathed everything myself as this community does not seem extremely active. So here I went through a lot of different character creation phases of trying to create different things, silver wing, blue wing. And I found orange wing is almost a necessity because when you finish the game, you're around level 5. I think it's level 5 or level 6. So you need the boost to criminal because you also need 140 criminal at the end of the game. So that's why we take orange wing, then we take science, criminal, and influence for perks later on. Penitent 1 just gives you boost to all the skills. Here you can see um, the full build. So at the beginning it's just standard, go through the start as quickly as possible. We're not going to be picking up any armor or weapons. Throughout the entire game we don't fight anything. This is also a pacifist run because it's a turn-based game, so obviously we're going to want to be avoiding combat as much as possible. But I'm sure there's faster ways to do this too. I'll say this early, is there have been a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes in this run, and also I cannot get past the phalanx quests at the second act, which I'm sure there's a way around it, but I haven't been able to find it. So hopefully somebody can enlighten me, but I'll talk about that more when we get there. This is all just skipping through the beginning introduction, and you'll see a lot of the times after dialogue I'll go into combat, or at least the combat start, because I'm spamming one for the most part, and one is the fist attack. So it puts me into combat, and I just have to remember to quickly jump out of it. Here, again, you're skipping through the armor, the weapons, so you're going to need lockpicking of 50 for this, or criminal 50, which will give you lockpicking 50. And this is why also you need to start orange wing, because it's hard to get orange wing and penitent 1 and high, I think it's brains and deafness, in order to get your lockpicking high enough to do this early. Otherwise you have to go through all the scanning psionics stuff. Here, again, the guy runs over to the door to check, so you can stop sneaking. Another reason we're going high investment in criminal is because we're going to be stealthing around all combat, because stealth is broken in this game. There's like what I usually play is use psionics and stealth, and you never get found, and you can kill everything instantly. So, or not instantly. It takes a long time, but you're never in any danger. But stealth in this game is just absurdly overpowered, but it works for the speedrun, lets you avoid all the turn-based combat. And here we're just going to go take the handcuffs off. I don't actually think it matters. You could probably keep the handcuffs on. I just don't like having the icon in the top left because it bothers me for some reason. So here we're skipping all the stuff. We're not having the picnic with the old man, obviously. All we're doing is running, grabbing the anomaly protector, and leaving, which also means that the old man will die, but that's a problem for a role-playing playthrough. So this is all standard. Go to the basement, find the secret hatch, and stealth through it, so you can grab the anomaly protector and ignore the old man's replacement. While we will get, I believe we'll get up to level 5 in this playthrough. I think we get it a bit late here because I skipped the encounter right after this, so you'll see it coming up. I used to, when I was first trying to pad this, I thought it would be fast just to grab the gas canister, give them the gas, and hurry through this. And that might still be faster than what I did. Instead, I've been working on just stealthing past this whole section, which is definitely slow because stealth is naturally going to be slower than walking naturally. But it avoids picking up the canister, which you have to go through the searching animation for, and then avoids all the dialogue, which could still be faster, but I've just opted to stealth at this point. This is all skipping as much dialogue. I went through, again, I spent a lot of time pathing this and going through what dialogue options I need to select every time, but that's unimportant. Here, I think I got nervous and started going slow because I didn't want to accidentally kill us. Because that would naturally make the run a bit slower. I didn't talk about this at the start, but I play on the story difficulty, which is the easiest because it's a speed run. I'm not trying to challenge myself. But I'm not sure that it matters what difficulty you're on because you're never in combat. I don't know if maybe skill checks are altered based on the difficulty. I haven't checked too much into that. But here, as you can see, I'm going in and out of stealth when I can just to get the speed boost from not being in stealth. And here we have Nashville. Nashville is very short because you just skip. So here, first level, we're going to get piloting up to 30, and that's the only other thing we need other than spamming criminal. At the end of the game, the stats we need to make sure we have. Actually, we don't even need piloting. It just makes it faster to grab a car. Here I forgot I was in stealth, so I jumped out of it too late. But the stats you need, aside from piloting 30, is criminal 140, science 50, and influence 60. Of course, you can beat the game without these stats. It's just, in order to skip a lot of stuff, those are the stats you need. Science 50 unlocks hacking, and you need 50 to hack Nakamura's terminal. Actually, I think you only need 40 for her terminal, but I get 50 just to be safe. And then you need influence 60 to skip a picnic quest later on. Yeah, and here it takes you through the secret passage, which is unnecessary. Maybe a bit slower, but it just automatically paths you that way. So here, of course, we're going to clear the floor of enemies and then rescue our friends in the initial Nashville mission. We're going to make contact. We're going to make sure everyone... No, we're just going to skip it all. Lockpicking and just criminal in this game is absurd. So, lockpick, go down, and skip everything. We skipped the second and third floor. First and second floor, something like that. And now it's just powering the generators and finishing the prologue. Very impatient. Clicking constantly. Also, when I started this run, I was almost certain it'd be about a 2-hour run. My goal is to get less than 2 hours. And as you can see by the length of this video and the length of the original, I went about an hour, 13 minutes. And I believe you could get less than an hour, especially if you can figure out how to skip the phalanx. But that just really bothers me because I went all throughout phalanx trying to figure out a way to skip that. I tried going through the White Lines Caravan Company, but you need a lot more levels to get your piloting and tech high enough. I think just piloting, maybe tech as well, but I think you need piloting 90 or 120 to steal the White Lines Caravan car, and I don't even know if that would skip that part of the quest. I don't know if that counts as having the heavy-duty vehicles. So, due to my general lack of knowledge about how to skip phalanx, I just do the whole phalanx quest. Here I also I keep the medicine pack, or like the healing skill, just to be safe, because usually when I'm playing through this area, I'll use the healing right here after I take all the damage from the darkness. But it's unnecessary. So I thought about dropping science, but of course you need science for the hacking, so keep it around anyway. We will never heal in this run because skipping combat, and when we level up it'll heal us, as well as just skipping sections such as the emulator, I believe. When you go in the emulator and time passes, I believe that heals you as well. I'm not positive. Because, this is not the normal way to play the game. But of course, this run, so there we go. I think we leveled up right there. Oh, no, we didn't. I'm sorry. This also, in the emulator, when you have to run down to get to this next area, you'll see in the third segment of this, is that I cannot find where you need to be. Like, I just run around aimlessly for a bit. Because I swear in all my normal run attempts, all you have to do is run straight down and you're finished there. But here you can see I'm just wandering around because I don't know where I need to go. So this is a big waste of time, but I don't understand where the goal is there, or what the end point is. But here, there's the end of the prologue. Once you finish the emulator, you're sort of out of the prologue because you're now free to explore the dome at your own pace, or at your own leisure. You can go anywhere to a degree. And now we're just going to head straight for Picnic because we want to go to the emulator project, talk to Henrietta Russo. I believe you get the Junktown. Oh, I messed up here because I was trying to go too fast. Another reason to take Criminal, as with every other reason, is to sneak past all these combat encounters. So this was a huge waste of time. Not a huge, it was like a 30-second waste of time, but completely unnecessary. You take Criminal so you can just stealth past all these encounters until you get a car where you can just choose to skip them without stealth. But the main reason we take the car is not for that. The main reason is just the speed, because you walk very slowly on this map. The first time I played this, I think my first run was maybe like 20 hours, and I did it in like a day and a half. Like, I played this game a lot the first time, but I don't think I drove a single time that first run. I don't think I ever put any points of piloting or ever found a car I could drive because I wasn't looking for it. Here I look to the left just to see if there's a tool merchant. I can see, I think it was a food vendor. So we need tool merchants because we need CPSs, electrical equipments, and a rope to complete. Those are the only things that are vaguely RNG. There are ways to get them that are somewhat guaranteed, but we just want to make sure we get that out of the way as soon as possible. So you can see, again, just leveling Criminal as much as possible, because we need 140 by the end of the game in order to skip more combat. But yes, I think the CPSs you can all get from Big Phil, but if you're lucky, you can actually get them earlier. Rope you want to get before you go to the Maze of Death, and there's a guaranteed rope if you go to the Settlers Campsite, but it's out of the way and a waste of time. So if you can find one before, usually you can find one at Picnic or at other random tool traders, but if you can not find one at random traders, then you want to go to the Settlers Campsite and get the guaranteed rope next to the tent. Although it's hidden behind a perception check, but that's not a problem. Even though we only have perception 2, it still activates. We still find the chest with the rope, or the toolbox with the rope. And then we want electrical equipment, which you'll see me throughout this run a bit. I'll start checking containers because I realize I'm low on electrical equipment. I think I even check when I'm low on CPSs, which is a waste because they're exceptionally rare unless you're looking at specific vendors. Also here, when you leave the door, even though you're within sight of people, you can still stealth for a short period of time. So I leave the emulator project and immediately stealth because I have a brief window of freedom to stealth there. Also, you see I picked up Katarzyna, and we are going to drop her off almost immediately, but we use her to diplomatically get through the elevator section of Magellan, and then also she just keeps stopping you if you don't escort her to Magellan, so it's just faster just to take her and ignore her. This also I could have done much faster, but I was just hesitant to spam on, oh, it's an armor trader. Yeah, so here I just start checking to see if I can maybe find electrical equipment. I don't find anything, so I leave. There's no reason to start checking all the boxes. I just think, hey, maybe I'll get lucky, but I do not. I think I check a lot of containers, and the only time I get anything I need is an electrical equipment that by the point I find it, I already have enough. So I think I end up with like 15 electrical equipments at the end of this run just because I kept grabbing them, even though I know I didn't need them, but I just thought, oh, just in case. For some reason, I need to make 5 anomaly protectors instead of 3. So here's when we get rid of Katarzyna and we set up the residence hall skip, as in a different teleportation or a fast travel point. It's not like a skip or anything. We just unlock a shortcut. Here we just use Katarzyna to skip through this combat with the man stealing relics. Right there, yeah, I go a bit slow because I'm nervous about misclicking something and entering combat. But yeah, here we just quickly power on the elevator and leave. And then again in the next section, when we're actually signing up with the administration, we do a more precise. This is annoying. We do more precise number clicking, where we have to make sure we select the correct option, so we don't have to redo the dialogue over again. But yeah, I always find after the elevator, I cannot click that control panel. It always takes me a few tries. Yeah, here I went very slowly because I thought I misclicked something, so I was almost convinced that I did it wrong until it let me keep going. So here's where Katarzyna leaves us, and we never see her again. But I think she gives us a level up. No, she doesn't. She gives you the quest completion sound, which I always confuse with the level up. Here we go to the reactor. This is what it was. Reactor, not residence. Or we do residence, but reactor first. This is very precise. This is like, you have to power on the systems in the right order. So it's like 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 7, 1. A lot of stuff that takes a long time. It took me a long time to figure out when I first played this game, but now I can do it very quickly, slowly when thinking, but much faster than before. And luckily with this next section, the fuse box that's blown out is always the same fuse box. I sort of expected the game to randomize it as one of the 4 fuse boxes, but it's simple enough where it's always random, or it's always the same. And again, we're passing all these great like side quests and little world buildings with the rat races in the generator room. Skipping all this. Very well designed world, fun quest if you want, not really fun quest, fun gambling if you'd like to gamble. If you want to turn them into the silver wings, you can do that. Lots of great stuff that we're just skipping over because we want to finish the game in an hour. It's a great game. And we're done here. So now we just head to the residency area and leave through the cave. The reason we leave through the cave here, and we do similar thing in the Failing Citer, but the reason we go to the residence area to leave here is to avoid as many random random encounters as possible, because there's a chance that enemies will attack the parking lot, just like in Picnic. Enemies can attack Picnic when you arrive or when you're leaving, so here we just do this. And I think it also just might be faster, but we do this to avoid any chances at combat. And when we arrive to the city, we arrive almost every time into the building, because if you arrive in the parking lot, there's a chance there will be combat. So arriving into the Magellan and then leaving through the residence area is just the fastest way to, or the easiest way to bypass combat. And here I can never find the, yeah, there we go. This transition clicking on the rocks for some reason always takes me a minute or two to find where to click. And here we just leave the area. Yeah, right here I'm just checking to make sure I have the influence, because I forgot if I needed to actually level up influence or not. So I wanted to check to make sure I had 60, because now we're heading to Picnic. Now we're heading to the Pillage Caravan, then we'll head to the Picnic, but we need 60 influence before going to the Picnic. There I'm trying to avoid all the random events, of course, because we don't want to. There's nothing, I mean, we could do some trader events to try to find the tool traders and get some early CPS's, electrical equipments and such, but for the most part, we just want to skip everything. And I was also very slow there because I was worried about accidentally going into combat again, like I did at the start of the run. But this is all very quick. There are a lot of ways to avoid this encounter, as long as you don't have Crumb with you. I think it's Crumb who just wants to start a fight, and so... Not Crumb. Is that his name? Crumb, right? No, Crump. Crump, not Crumb. Crump. Don't take him when you go check out the pillage caravan, unless you're ready for a fight. This is the earliest way to actually get a car, is in that random encounter. At least I hope that's correct. I'm pretending like I'm super confident, but I believe that's the earliest way to get a car, because you can get it before the second act. But you need repair of 60, or like tech 30, tech 60, which we aren't going to have enough points for at any point, because again, ending at level 5. So we need to spend our skill points wisely. Here we get into combat, I believe. Yes. No. No, we don't. Okay. I think I just very often get into combat. Here I mess up. I didn't mean to go into this menu. Especially you can see I wasted a lot of time here. I don't have the money to buy those, and then I went through the dialogue too quickly at the start, where I messed up and accidentally went into the shop, where I just wanted to charm her to give me the plans. And now we're going to pickpocket the electrical equipment off her, because she's got 6 of the 9 we need. And then, take her money too. Why not? We steal a lot of money this run. We don't use a lot. We use a bit, but I don't think you actually need any money, because what we use it on is unnecessary. Just safe. At some point in the run I buy food and water, but I don't think you need it. It lowers your stats to be hungry and thirsty, but I don't think it lowers it drastically enough to actually affect the outcome. And here again, big area full of bandits, or cutthroats, fops, whatever you want to call them. The bandits are different from fops, but it doesn't matter. But we're going to skip it all by stealthing, because combat is optional in this game. Also, this could be a, Mastermind, I think is the achievement, Mastermind run, where you just are pacifist for the whole run, and then you take Katarzyna up and kill one of the rats in the Magellan parking lot when you're taking her back. Because they are the weakest enemy that I can think of off the top of my head that you can be sure will spawn. And you could kill them with her very easily, get 1 kill, and then just get rid of her and play the rest of the game as a pacifist. Here I'm checking White Wing employees for CPSs and electrical equipment, as well as that crate. Although I think it's unlikely they would have them. I think it's more likely Blue Wing spawns with them. Oh, I did search. I was hoping I wouldn't, because, oh yeah, just food. Wasted time. Potatoes are good if you have a low intelligence run, but not for the most part. Useless in this run. Oh, yeah, there I just expected to see nothing, so I skipped it quickly. But there was 1 electrical equipment, so I only need 2 more at this point, although I'm going to grab like 7 more. Unnecessarily. So I believe this is the last thing we do before... Yeah, this is the last thing we do before the beginning of Act 2, which is when we do everything for the new committee. At least we do everything after the new committee meeting. And it should be very short if we can figure out how to skip the phalanx. But the phalanx adds so much time. Yep. Now we're just going to run back to the emulator and begin Act 2. You hear I get this serious and slight blisters effect. There I realized I should have actually checked out the trader, just in case there's a tool trader, but I skipped it because I thought, like, oh, it's probably combat or some other thing. I didn't read carefully, but it's okay. Now we have the mild fatigue state, but we are about to have to skip about 2 days of in-game time, so we can sleep. Doesn't matter. Because after you talk to Russo here, tell her everything's done, she says she needs a couple days to prepare, so I sleep for about almost 3 days, I think, just to be safe. I don't think you need to sleep that long. I don't even know if you need to leave the building. I just always do it to be safe. Here I'm checking if there's anything I want to loot. I didn't realize this to my last full run, actually. Like, full run isn't like roleplay, playthrough, not speedrun. But holding Alt, at least on PC, or I assume this game's only on PC, I don't know. Holding Alt will allow you to see anything interactable in the environment. So here first I'm going to check to see if it's a tool trader. It's not, so I just leave and head back. Head for the sleeping bag. I mean, there are housing units you can rent or buy in this town, but there's also just a sleeping bag, so the houses are unnecessary but interesting flavor, and they are very useful. They have a fully stocked kitchen and things you can loot, but if you just want to sleep, sleeping bag. So here you can see I'm hungry, and this gets worse and deteriorates over time. And I do eat food, like take time to go to a canteen, buy food, and then consume, but it seems unnecessary due to the stat. How it affects the stats I don't think is enough to actually affect the playthrough. Here I'm just holding Alt because it's fun. I like looking at the names of things that I can interact with even if I'm not going to interact with any of them. Again, very new concept to me. I accidentally hit Alt one day and saw everything, so now I'm just playing with it like a new toy. Here I see a safe in Russo's office I've never seen before, and I waste time with this. Or in Henrietta's office. So here I try to go, or I'm like, oh, I won't do it, and then I don't get far enough away, so I just waste 10-15 seconds there running around, probably like 10 seconds, but waste some time. It's just seeing if I could see what's in the safe. And there's no way it would benefit me. There's probably not 3 CPSs, 2 electrical equipments, and a rope in there, but I thought it'd be fun to check. And this is the beginning of Act 2, where we are completing a large checklist of tasks for every faction in the game. And this med merchant up here always has 2 CPSs on her, so you can pickpocket her quickly. Also for some relics if you're in like a fun run, not this, but some CPSs that you can grab. I think Big Phil always has 4 guaranteed anyway, but I grab them from her just in case, because if I can get 2 CPSs off her, and if I get lucky and the picnic has 1 CPS, then I don't need to go out of my way to travel to Big Phil, because Big Phil's sort of out of the way when you're in the Phalanx, but not too much to where it's a huge detriment. But again, I do think you could beat this in less than an hour if you just speed up the Phalanx. But Phalanx is a slog with my current self-constructed strategy, which is almost definitely subpar. But hopefully, with the spamming one, hopefully with the addition of this speedrun, the community will, engage with the game more, maybe get a bigger community. I want this game to get more recognition. I think it's a great game. It's the first game of this genre that I've really enjoyed, and that I've even beaten, I think. Like turn-based, top-down role-playing games. I tried playing the original Fallout, tried playing Trudograd, which a lot of people recommend. If you like this game, they're like, oh, try Trudograd. They just didn't do it for me. This game, I can replay. I've got like 100 hours or so in this game. But yeah, the other games don't know. I just really enjoyed this one. But here, finished. We're quick saving just to be safe, because I'm almost positive I'm out of her range if you walk on the other side of the sidewalk after because of course you don't want to walk near her after pickpocketing for a duration of time, because she'll then become hostile. or at least stop you for a second. But running on the right side stays out of her range, but a quick save to be safe. Here again, I'm checking for a tool trader. I think there is one this time, though I don't believe they have what I need. Yeah, there's a tool trader here. I'm trying to remember what they have. I think they have a rope, actually, which does save me from needing to go to the settler's campsite, which I think is supposed to be campsite, but it says campsite, so yes, they have a rope. So I get the rope, and they have no electrical equipment, which is sort of what I need at the moment. Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's anything else I might need, but that's everything. I now have one rope, I think 7 electrical equipments, and 2 CPSs. So I'm almost set. I'm almost done really doing anything other than running from point to point. I just need 1 more CPS and 2 more electrical equipment. And then I'll be done. And then I just run Picnic to Phalanx to Carmine Heights. Most of this game is just running from place to place and spam, or most of the speedrun, not most of the game, most of the speedrun is just running from place to place and spamming through dialogue and stealthing everywhere. I mean, lots of stealth. This, yeah, I get stuck in this loop for a second because I don't realize that it's one spamming loop. I do eventually come around. And now we're heading back into the city. So first we have the meeting in the city, then first we're with the Russo, then we have to go into the city for the meeting, then we have to go back to the Russo, then we have to go back to the city to talk to Nakamura. Really, we're just stealing her funds, but the way you finish Nakamura's quest line early is what made me think there must be a way around the Phalanx's quest. Because you go into her computer and you transfer the funds yourself. And you can steal Hieronymus Zemeckis' Selectron, but his terminal, without insanely high hacking, you can't do anything with. Although his terminal, I found out you can actually. I was checking for food here. With his terminal, you can change your appearance if you'd like, which I didn't know was an option until I was trying to path the speedrun. But he has a safe with this Electron, all this stuff, and I could not find a way to use all of this to actually skip anything. Also, that car there is one option to quickly get a car, but it's stealing, so you have the risk of the random encounter where the police pull you over, and then also it's broken. So unless you find a repair kit or are looking out for a repair kit, I'm sure I've seen a repair kit at this point, but I wasn't looking for it and didn't think to grab it. But you can grab one for free. That is, here I should be out of her sight there. I don't know. But you could use repair kit, but you get a car for free in Picnic later, where it's not considered stealing for some reason, because Picnic is very open to just take our stuff. Here, we don't need to actually pick the lock, because when we were pickpocketing the Reverend earlier, we just stole his key. So I didn't even need to stealth here. I just was being careful. And this, I think, was the first one where I actually pickpocketed the key and then used the key. Every other run, I pickpocketed the key and then lockpicked anyway. But I didn't realize if you just use the key, it's somehow not considered stealing, because they don't see the lock is broken. Here, I considered stopping at the drinking fountain, or the vending machine to get food or drinks, but I figured I'd be up near a canteen when I did go to Big Phil later anyway, and that vending machine would likely not have what I need. Here I'm hovering over Kareem because I know he's going to stop me, and I'm going to have to get through his dialogue. And I'm going to get through it as slowly as possible because I'm not confident. I can speed through a lot of the dialogue in this game, but not all of it. I can't remember everything, so I forgot which options that need to be here. This is very simple. For some reason, there's no guards in this hallway. I swear there are normally guards outside her door, but I'm able to stealth really early. Usually you have to go into the room, move to the left side, and then stealth, but there's nobody at the door this time. So this is one option that I made sure I knew quickly, where it's 1-2-1, because even while you're hacking the computer, you are being discovered, so you need to do it quickly. So now that we hacked the computer, Nakamura's whole quest line is finished. The church's whole quest line is finished as well. I didn't mention that earlier. We stole the implant from them. We used Nakamura's computer to wire the funds to Russo, so we're done with these now. And now I'm just heading out because I don't need to go back to the emulator. I'm heading to the back path. And here we'll run past the White Lines Caravan Company, which is sort of introduced as a way to get the heavy duty all-terrain vehicles. But I have never found a way to actually go through with that. I've never really tried either, but I've talked to the person who seems to be in charge, and he has no options about like lending us a vehicle for the emulator project. So I've been able to steal his key and steal a car, but I've never had high enough piloting to get very far away with it. So I'm sure I could try pathing that, but also if it does work, if it's like, oh, if you have 120 piloting, you can steal it and it'll work for the emulator project and you can skip the Phalanx quest line. That is still going to be much slower than actually doing the Phalanx quest because that requires at least 120 piloting, so like at least 3 more levels, probably 4. So here I got in an encounter and I just left. Because if you leave and re-enter, the encounter's over. Which I genuinely didn't know until this run. I thought when I came back I'd still be in combat, but luckily that didn't happen. I've never tried to just leave before. Except for when, of course, I've entered an area, or I've been leaving an area on my way out, and there was an attack. Then I just left them. But here I believe I try to pickpocket. Oh yeah, here I get caught sneaking again because I think I can hide behind the shelf. Here I'm searching again for electrical equipment or something I could use. Here I think I'm behind the shelf, out of line of sight. I'm not, so I have to waste some time running back and then sneaking. Here you unlock the hatch, which is a crime, and then you go into the basement. So when you come out, you will be found, so you have to quickly go to the safe and unlock that because you're committing 2 crimes within view of 1 person, so you have to quickly get in and out. But I actually got lucky in this one where she ended up being out of line of sight for a while, so I was able to position myself well before she discovered the first lock was broken. Here we are at level 5, which, yes, should be our last level. Because we have 125 criminal right now, we get to 145, I believe, at the end. So this should be our last level. Finishing the game at level 5. So yeah, you can see she's barely out of line of sight of that lock. And then she barely walks far enough away to where she is not actively spotting me when I am in the safe. And now I try to pickpocket Audrey, but I believe I pickpocketed her earlier, so it doesn't work. Yeah. So rope, which I don't need. Electrical equipment, this is all I need. If I found another CPS, that'd be great, but I know I can get it from... Yeah, and I just trade with her because I've stolen enough money. There, I was trying to actually leave the menu quickly, but I forgot you can't press escape to actually leave dialogue in this game. And here we're taking this car because it's free. There's no penalty for stealing this car. Here we want to go to the Maze of Death, which is 8 blocks, or like 8 squares to the left of Phalanx. So you saw me count there. And yeah, after the meeting, by the way, I didn't mention this at the time, but after the meeting, I went to the navigation table, spammed through all the map options just to unlock things like the Phalanx base and Carmine Heights. Not because it's impossible to remember where they are, it's just quicker for my dumb brain to remember, or it's easier for my brain to just see it, spend that 5-6 seconds going through there. So here we're very near to the end of what we need to be doing in terms of factions, except for the Phalanx, which the rest of this run is about another 35 minutes. 25 of that must be Phalanx. Not that much, like 20 minutes of that is Phalanx, or Phalanx related. So here I'm checking to make sure I have the rope, and then I also believe I check to see how many CPSs and electrical equipments I have, just so I know what I need going forward. But there I was just double checking to make sure I do have the rope, because this is where you need it. This is why you need the rope. we have no rope. I really like the dialogue between those two flops, even though it's just repeated on and on and on. The first time I heard it, it was great. And now that I've heard it hundreds of times, just sitting in that room for 2 minutes makes you hear it hundreds of times. But it's a very funny line, so hats off. Here I barely stealth in time. I wasn't exactly sure the range on the turret, but I got lucky, and then I tried to remember which tile it would be on when I returned. But here again, lockpicking skips everything. We go meet Sherlock. And if you're in a casual run, if you haven't played this game and you're in a casual run, that door the first time I did not have the criminal to get past it. There's no key to the door, I don't believe. But you can just beat doors down. So like if you could use your fist very slowly, or you could use your weapon to destroy the door. Here I'm just going to level up. So yes, this is the last level I'll get in the game, which I'm just going to dump into criminal because I need 140 criminal for the end of the game. You need to be able to stealth past some stuff. Here I considered searching those bodies. I searched the blue wing up here because this is when I finally was like, oh, it's not white wings, it's blue wings that are more likely to have CPSs. I wait till Sherlock's well out of the range of... Oh, did I not take it? He did have an... Oh, no. He had an electrical equipment, but at this point I have enough where I don't need it. And here we have to power back on the elevator. I pressed 1 too early there. I don't believe you can climb back up the rope. No, because I've tried that, and Sherlock says you need to power on the elevator, but you can get the rope back here if you'd like, but it's not necessary because you're never going to use it again in this specific speedrun. I keep thinking this run's almost done, but then I remember the phalanx, and so I've still got half an hour left. I really want a way to skip the phalanx, because if I could skip all of the phalanx's quest line, it would only be phalanx, Carmine Heights, and then planting the beacons and finishing. But because of phalanx, we're running all up and down the dome. Here I want to stealth right before I leave, because if you leave, then you'll be leave on stealth, you'll immediately enter dialogue with the man at the door there, asking why you returned and his friend didn't. So I just sneak past it. Again, you could probably just get through the dialogue really quickly by knowing the right dialogue option combination, like spamming the right numbers, but I wasn't too concerned with that. I'd rather be safe than accidentally enter dialogue. And here's the first visit to the phalanx. And when we leave, we will leave through the warehouse as well. Again, just to avoid any random encounters. But the phalanx is Hieronymus is all the way in the back, and then if you want to go to Big Phil, he's all the way to the right side from this perspective. So phalanx is big. It's not like Picnic where you can just run up to Audrey in about 5 steps. Even Carmine Heights is much more compact. Though, because of the phalanx and because of the main quest, we have to go to Carmine Heights anyway. Which will be our next stop after we go here, because the first quest of the phalanx is to check the polls in Carmine Heights, because politics. Here, I swear, I've gone through this whole house, and I cannot find a way to skip the quest. And by this whole house, I mean everything that seemed... I didn't check the flower pots. Maybe I should. Here, I'm just checking for food, because I am aware that I'm hungry and thirsty. And though it doesn't actually affect the end game, I'm paranoid and concerned about my hunger and thirst. Skip everything and leave. Again, there's the safe there, there's a terminal. You'd think there's some way to remotely give the trucks to the emulator project, but I could not figure it out. So, and here we're going to Big Phil, because he's... Every time I've gone there, I don't want to say it's guaranteed because I'm not positive, but every time I've gone to him, he's had 4 CPSs, which I believe means it's guaranteed, but I don't want to say that. And you go to Big Phil in your run and he has none. Or 6, maybe he has more, I don't know. And because we are dirty criminals, we are going to steal the CPSs instead of pay for them. Which also, I think, just leads us to stealing electrical equipment that we don't need. Just because I'm like, well, if I'm pickpocketing anyway, let's take some extras. Yeah, I stealthed too early again. I do that quite a bit, but luckily there's not a huge penalty for stealthing too early. You just get, like, reprimanded. Yeah, I'm checking for electrical equipment that I don't need. Oh, I only take the 1 CPS. Okay. Don't get too greedy. I think right after this I craft them. Or right after this I try to craft them. As you can see here, then I realized I never actually read the note from the picnic. So I read that and then I craft them. Because you need to, even though you receive the note, you then have to read it. Here I'm going to the canteen again to get food and water I don't need. But I'm being overly safe. Because in all the practice runs I did of this, I went much slower. And so I spent time eating and drinking just to make sure I had the path right. So I didn't want it to be like, oh, because I didn't eat in this run, I ruined it. There. And that's all the food and water we'll need. Because heated ham and heated beans are very good. And because I'm dumb, I didn't eat enough to remove the notification. Again, it doesn't matter. I don't need to eat. I don't need to drink. The run is too short to necessitate that, but I figure, why not waste time? It's not too important. And here we're going to the warehouse because it has a back exit, and we avoid random encounters, wild encounters. You can steal the trucks here to leave immediately instead of going all the way back out to your car, but you need 60 piloting with that because you need the heavy duty driving. And as I said, we are done leveling, level 5, so we are maxed out. Here I believe I go over to the book. Maybe I don't do it in this run. Maybe it was a practice run. Must have been. But there's a book in the warehouse that I think gives you plus 15 permanent boost to piloting. The permanent skill boost books in this game are great. Especially when you're, like, I do a lot of psionics criminal runs because they're both, I think, the most overpowered skills in the game. And if you get your psionics up to 165 before things like meds and like other boosts through the environment, you're doing big damage with high accuracy. So maybe I'll go through and just do, like, show a normal run or how I normally build a high psionics character. Because I think there's a lot of stuff that it's not necessarily unknown, but it's something you wouldn't find immediately. Like the level 5 electrical psionics weapon in the laboratory level of Magellan. Here, I waste a lot of time in Carmen Heights, actually. Because I talk to a lot of people. A lot of people, because I never see the option for the quest progressing, Hieronymus and Mechas' quest progressing, so I assume it hasn't. So I keep talking to people. Here you can take the hog because we have piloting 30, and that'll put us right at the doorstep of the Jensen's. I believe it's the Jensen's. Here, yeah, again, I've thought about chasing that woman down, that was in the bottom of the screen for a second, but I'm curious if the quest did progress and I just missed it. Because now that I don't have to focus on the game as much, I'm checking out for the quest. So yeah, by now it should have popped because I've talked to 5 people. I believe it's 5 people, but I've not received the notification that the quest has progressed. So I talked to a lot more people than necessary. Here I'm going to go around the corner to break line of sight and then stealth. And here, to finish Carmen Heights' quest, because they are kind and not the phalanx, all you have to do is steal from their safe. I hate the phalanx quest. It just wastes so much time. I should be done with the phalanx quest by now. But have what you want. There must be a way. There's a way to skip every other faction's quest. There must be a way to skip the Phalanx quest. I'm just not smart or diligent enough to actually find it. Maybe I'll spend a run where I just do everything. Like I search every container, max out every skill. I usually do that after I finished most of these quests. Yeah, here I wasn't actually sure if I talked to him about Zemeckis, so I went back into the options. And I had to be careful not to go into the trading menu. Here, again, like I still have not received the notification. So I think it must just be in there in the quest. Because every other run it showed me a pop-up. It's like, oh, the quest has progressed. But unless I missed it again when I'm specifically looking for it, but... yeah, here I'm just like this. That quest must have progressed by now. So I went to press check it. Yeah, then I saw, okay, the quest has progressed. I don't need to be here. And I double checked just to make sure I don't leave too early. I go to steal this car, but again, I'm wasting time because I forget that it's a broken car, which normally in a normal run you can fix and take very easily. But when you're level 5 and have no items on you, it goes a bit slower. I know, you're limited to much less. Here we're going back to Phalanx, because the Phalanx is a lovely place to visit. I really need to fully... I've tried, like... Not tried, but I've gone through a lot of Phalanx, but I'm sure I've missed something. Where there might be another warp, like not the underground garage. And this is the warp I was talking about earlier with Magellan, where I say you don't go to the parking lot. For the most part, you go to one of these other warps. You go to the first... Once you've visited a floor, you can then warp to it from the world map. I don't know if this path is much faster, especially when you're leaving, but it avoids wild encounters, or random encounters, so you gotta take what you can get. Here we are about a third of the way done with the Phalanx quest line. Yeah, Phalanx is big. This walk up every time. Like if the picnics mission had you running back and forth to the picnic, yeah, so then again I'm checking to see if there's anything I could have missed. But picnic, if you had to run back and forth to the picnic a bunch of times, that's still annoying, but doable. But the Phalanx is the biggest one single story settlement. Sure, Magellan's probably bigger. Maybe. I don't know. Phalanx is big, and the warehouse also adds a lot. So this being the one you have to run to and from with your very slow movement speed. I know there are ways to improve or increase the movement speed, but not many options at level 5 again. So maybe you could take one of those hogs to the left of the screen there, but you might need high power battery for those. I don't remember exactly. Here again, I'm just hovering over the trucks because I'm aware that I could steal them to get out of this warehouse quicker if I had 30 more piloting. Even while I'm running, I'm trying to find ways to speed up the process. Oh yeah, so this is when I look at the book. So that pile of books there has the, I believe it's plus 15 piloting skill book in it. I think it's piloting or tech, something like that. And so in a normal run, obviously pick that up. You get a permanent skill boost to one of your skills that for free, but not this one. We're trying to be done fast. Although, maybe it's necessary. Maybe if you get one more level and you put those levels into piloting, and then you take the piloting book, maybe you can get high enough to steal something from the phalanx. But again, I really hope somebody else has more insight into this, because I want to skip the phalanx so badly, but you gotta complete it. Here I'm just going to, on my way up to Magellan, I'm going to plant all of the beacons, because it's sort of on the way. Definitely less out of the way than later. So here we're using the implant we stole from the church to make it through the first settlers camp. And this is necessary. You can't skip this. You need to plant the beacon, and if you don't wear the implant, then you die like immediately. So there I see an old box. I'm like, oh, I could loot it, but you know, I have everything I need. So it's just my general need to loot that. Playing this game and looting everything. Here I get a bit unlucky with the enemy spawning right up in the pathway there, but I think I just run behind him. Yeah, because I get bored of stealthing and I think it's too slow, so I try to run to the right side to stay out of his range. Stop for a second just to be safe, and then I go. Because stealth, while overpowered, does have a cooldown, so you can't spam it as much as maybe some other games. But the cooldown does go down while you are in stealth, which is very helpful. So while I'm stealthed right now, the cooldown is probably reduced to 0. But I do think I stealth my way all the way out just to be extra safe. During the practice runs, I had some situations where I got caught into combat, especially, it took me a long time to, not a long time, just took me quite some time to figure out how to skip the picnic's first area, because I got my conviction up to 60, had my influence up to 60, and that didn't work. So then I realized you need charisma of 6, because you need the charm that's high enough to pass the picnic dialogue speech check in the first act. So, like I said, I've put a lot of work into pathing this in what I think is a very fast way, but I know there's room for improvement. Although I struggle to think how you could build a character that's more efficient than what I've built. Maybe you put more points into fortune and less into things like guts, because you don't really use guts or strength, but I mean, I only have strength at 2, but you only really need deafness. Actually, you don't even need deafness. I just take it because it boosts your criminal stat. But deafness, brains for the extra experience points, which you also may not need, because as long as you can get to level 5, you don't need the extra experience. And finally, 10 charisma, which you only need 6 charisma, but I figure dumping it into charisma can't hurt. Here, I'm going to run the wrong way. Remove the relic because the visual effect annoys me. Also, the first time I used that relic, whenever I had the relic on, I thought I was being like attacked by the psychic forces because of the purple aura around you. I thought I was like attracting it somehow. Then I got smart and removed the relic. But this is all very standard, planting the beacons along your way back to Magellan. Because the final one is in Magellan, where you go to the parking lot. And you can avoid combat in this section very easily. Just go to the left. There's some enemies on the right side up the stairs, but they're very easily avoidable. And there's no real reason to go that way except for combat, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, it's very loud. Now we're heading back to Magellan. Hopefully I have no more notifications. Now we're going to the parking lot, which I know I said you want to avoid because of random encounters, which I did risk running into a random encounter here. But luckily, I went too far up here. I forgot that Magellan's not the phalanx, so it's a bit smaller. And then we just go to the right here to get up to the final beacon placement spot. and we have more mines. With mines, you want to sort of rapidly click, because the mines, if you spot a mine or even spot like a secret or something, it'll immediately stop your movement. So you want to quickly click as you discover those. Also, I don't know how that rat that had the full red eye didn't spot me. Maybe it was behind a car and couldn't see me, but I got very lucky not to be spotted there. And those are the rats that, as I said earlier, I believe are the weakest, definitely spawning enemies. So you can use Katarzyna to kill one of those and then play through the rest of the game as a pacifist speedrun style. And then you get the Mastermind achievement, if you wanted to do it as quickly as possible. You can also just play a game like the developers intended, where you just use companions to do damage. And, I mean, it's fine. Use Fox, use Crump. They do big damage. Or you could use a Fox, Yoko combination to get the range in that. Melee, it's all very... The companions... 3 of the companions I think are very good. I messed this up for quite a bit here because I forget the order in which to complete this. Yeah, I just mess around with this until I just get, annoyed and spam 1, which does solve the problem. So now that we're finished, we've done everything we need to, we're going to the phalanx, because where else would we go? So this is why I really think the phalanx needs to be skipped for this run to get... I mean, if you skip the phalanx, you easily get the run under an hour. You could also just correct my mistakes and get the run under an hour, but if you can skip the phalanx... Because right now you're going from the northwest or northeast corner of the map. Phalanx is in the southwest. So if you can skip that travel, and because then you go down to Phalanx, then you have to go back up to the emulator project, which is right next to Magellan. Huge waste of time, not counting the time you have to spend running through the Phalanx. But as far as I could find in my somewhat limited pathing time, I could not find a way to skip the phalanx. So I'm going to skip ahead here a bit, just because this is all the same stuff we've done before. Skip random encounters, go to the phalanx, talk to Hieronymus Zemeckis, and then leave through the warehouse. And, okay, this is a mess. So, if you want to watch the whole phalanx part there, you can watch the video yourself. So here I get caught in the loop of not knowing exactly how to deal with this random encounter. So I do this for a long time until I realize that if I just go to the engage them in battle and use my deafness, so actually deafness 7 is almost required to get past this random encounter, because I've run into this random encounter every time I've tried, I've worked on pathing the game. So you'd think I would have planned for it better, but I didn't. So use deafness. Also, this gives you an achievement if you use deafness to escape this. I accidentally pressed the wrong button there, of course. And finally you get away, and if you don't have the achievement for making the Fops' car blow up, you get the achievement there. And then I shake the mouse out of frustration for not doing that random encounter efficiently and getting caught in a loop. It was at that point where I was like, if I can't get out of this, it might just be over, because I'll have to go into combat, and unless I can leave the combat very quickly, it's a huge waste of time. But I just need to learn the random encounters better. And here you can talk to Russo, or you can just go up to the emulator. I think you can probably just do this in the other, at the end of Act 1 as well as at the end of Act 2 here. But here we go, the main console, and this will start the end. So I finally made it through all the phalanx trips. And now we are just heading to the desert near Concord. And this is why we need 140 criminal. because if you don't take 140 criminal when you are going back through Nashville, I believe it's Nashville. I think I would know. When you're going back through there, you'll be in combat because I think it's the phalanx. It's always the phalanx. I think it's the phalanx who rushes ahead of you in combat, and you can't stealth in front of them, so you end up in combat. Whereas like the picnic, you can get far enough ahead of them without 140 criminal to avoid the combat. But I think it's the phalanx or new committee that rushes ahead of you and starts combat before you can avoid it. So yeah, I've had practice runs where I got like, it was one of my last ones before this speedrun attempt, where I got all the way to Desert Near Concord, and then I realized I didn't have the criminal I needed. So I had to replay it all just to make sure the pathing was right again. I think that's when I switched to Orange Wing, is when I realized you needed 140 criminal, because up to that point I think you needed 120 for the Jensen safe. Here I'm double checking to make sure I do have 140 criminal, which I do. And now it's just running through up to the door and then slowly stealthing through Concord, at the Desert Near Concord. This can't be Nashville, no, because Nashville is more north. This is towards the Maelstrom Center. So it's probably just Concord, since it's Desert Near Concord, Road to Concord, but for some reason that just doesn't sound right to me, but I'm probably just an idiot. It's not, it's Reisner. What was I saying? I just see Johann Reisner there. I was saying something completely different. I forgot their last name entirely. Oh well. This kind man gives you some advice, and you ignore it in stealth anyway. So you can see my timer. I know in like a lot of games, yeah, so I quick save there just to make sure I don't mess up this criminal stealth check. In a lot of speedruns, they will pause during the loading screens just to make it fair for everyone with different end computers. Some people have very good computers, some people have just old laptops. However, I didn't want to manually pause and unpause every time there was a loading screen, and I'm not smart enough to code the timer to actually pause on its own during the loading screen. So without the loading screens, I'm probably under an hour. Probably not. That's ambitious. But there's a lot of time. But I'm not worried. I don't think the loading screens are too long in this game. And I'm sure if this game gets enough attention, somebody smarter than me will figure out how to pause during the loading screens. But for me, I'm not too concerned. I just want to show what I think is a very quick pathing through the game, and also hopefully build more appeal around the game, get more people's attention. Because I know speedrunning has a huge audience. So, like, I found games that I like through speedrunning. Even though this is the second game I've actively tried to speedrun, but I don't know, I think speedrunning just builds a certain hype around a game. Even if you've never seen the game before, you just want to see how quickly it can be done, what can be skipped. Or I'm wrong. That's a possibility. I'm just building up this game as much as I can, because big fan. I think it's massively underpriced. I got it for free through Humble Bundle, but it was on when I got it. It was also on sale for about $6, I think. So I got so I got stuck on the wall there. But I also encourage like my family and friends to get the game. But none of them have gotten into it as much as I have. I've put so much time into this game. It's so just great, very replayable, very fun, lots of endings. If you've watched this far, I'm sure you made up your own mind about the game, but I really enjoy it. And here we're just going to treat our friend Zemeckis the way he deserves to be treated after not letting me skip the Phalanx quests. And we're going to sacrifice him to the Maelstrom. For the, greater good or whatever. But also just because it feels nice to get rid of the phalanx when they've cost you so much grief in a video game where they wasted like 10 minutes, but still. And here we leave. And I wait until I see the developer's logo before I pause the timer, which again, I know there's some loading time to account for, but I just feel like it's more fair to pause once, or to stop the timer once the logo shows up, even if it's different for different speeds for different players, but it's all roughly the same. But yeah, that is the end of the run. As you can see here, I'm about to get in the car and skip through the entire epilogue and end the timer. But I hope you enjoyed this review of the game, or not review, this discussion about my run that is uploaded right now, and this will be uploaded shortly afterwards. And hopefully you seek out Encased on your own if you've not heard of it, or if you've not spent too much time with it. And yeah, thanks for watching and listening, and hopefully you can tell me how to skip the phalanx, because that's my next hurdle to get past in order to cut down my time massively. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.